What is up, guys? Stark here. I am back for another Fate video, and in today's video we are going to be taking a look at the calendar for October 2023. It's hard to believe that the year is almost over, but we still do have a couple more months to get through, and we do have a ton of servers to talk about. So we are going to go ahead and try and get through this as quickly as possible, although I will note that this one's going to be a little bit different than it has been in the past. Instead of just having one graphic with all the characters on it, I'm going to break it up a little bit better by like individual banners for the most part. Some I didn't do that for. Like if multiple banners come out on the same day and they have like the same duration, then I might have like lumped them together. But I tried to separate it a little bit better just to kind of make it look more organized. And so I can talk about it a little bit more in depth if need be. But regardless, it's generally going to follow the same format. The other reason is because Fate kind of like got away from like the individual rate ups each day, where it just kind of rotates different servants every day. And for the most part, all of the servants are rated up for the duration of their banners, which I'm personally a huge fan of, not just because it makes it a little bit easier for me to work, but you know, sometimes you get busy and you have to miss like a rate up day and then you can't pull for that character. So, you know, this is just easier. Like whenever you have free time, whenever you get paid, you can pull for those characters, and they are split up into different banners. So if you did want like a specific 5-star, you don't have to wait for a specific day. You just go to that banner and pull for that character, and hopefully you get that character. Regardless though, there are 3 banners currently available in the game right now. Well, overarching banners, there's more than that, but they all fall under 3 different trees. The first one is going to be for the Interlude 17 campaign. I did miss this last month. I'm not sure how I missed it. Must have just fell under the radar. But anyway, there are 2 servants you can pull for. First one is going to be the alter ego Okida Soji Alter, and then the other one's going to be for the 5-star foreigner Van Gogh. So it's the same banner, but they're on 2 different banners in the game. So if you want Okida Soji Alter, you pull for her on that banner. If you want Van Gogh, you pull for them on that banner. So like I said, it makes it a lot easier to try and pull for the characters that you want, as opposed to just waiting for a special day. The second banner that we have is going to be for the Fate Samurai Remnant launch campaign, whatever you want to call it. It's a new banner that both versions of the game, I believe, got at the same time, which is really cool, like one of those few collaborative banners that we get. Really hope that one day we can catch up with Japan so we can get like simultaneous releases, which would be really cool. Not gonna happen, but it would be cool if it ever does happen. Anyway, there's 3 different banners in this one. 2 of them are going to be available for you on the 1st, which, well, technically the other one's going to be out on the 1st, but it's going to come out tonight as opposed to already out. But the 2 that are out right now is going to be Musashi and Arjuna. Those are going to be the 2 5-star characters rated up. And then later on tonight, you're going to have Old Man Lee's banner. So, technically, he does come out today. So, it'll only be for a couple hours. But he does come out tonight, just later on in the game. So, depending on when you're watching this video, he might not be available. But he will come out tonight. If not, just consider it coming out on the 2nd. But all 3 of these banners do come with the 4-star caster Cersei rated up and the 3-star Lancer Ku rated up. If you guys don't have Ku MP5 by now, you're probably a newer player, so take my advice and go pull on friend point summons and get him and MP5 him and level him up and use him. He's pretty good, actually really good. And if you're not a newer player and you don't have him at MP5, then just same thing, friend point summons, get him, level him up, no reason not to. Especially for a character like that, really good. Alright, and the final banner that is available right now is going to be for the Halloween Trilogy event. Now again, much like with Old Man Lee, the second part of this banner is not actually out yet, but it will come out later on tonight. So I am going to include it in the list here. But we do have a bunch of servants to get through, and this is kind of where I got the idea of doing what I was going to do with making the individual graphics here. But first banner is going to consist of, well, yeah, this one's a little bit differently because they have different servants on all 3 of the banners. But anyway, the first one is going to be Cleopatra as the 5-star character. Then you're going to have Elizabeth, Lancer version of Vlad, and Nijokris. Those are going to be your 4-star characters for that banner. Alright, and then on the second banner, you're going to have the 5-star assassin Osaka Bihime. You're going to have the 4-star assassin Carmilla, 4-star assassin Assassin of Shinjuku, and 4-star Assassin, Assassin of the Nightless City. I say those because I can't actually, well, I might be able to, but the pronunciations of their actual names are really difficult for me to pronounce for some of them, so I just say those. It's so much easier. Like Wu Zetian isn't too bad, but like Yan, I don't even know how to say the last part of his name. I'm really bad with Chinese pronunciations, so I just don't even like bother with it. Anyway, those are the characters rated up on the second banner. Like I said, this one is going to come out later on tonight, so not actually out right now in the game, but will be out at some point later tonight. And that is all 3 of the banners for the 1st of October. Alright, so moving on to October 4th, we do have the 3rd part of the trilogy banners coming out. This is going to introduce you a new banner into the mix, and that'll give us 4 new servants to talk about. They're all old servants, so nothing too crazy here, but you have the 5-star Berserker Vlad, you have the 4-star Berserker Ibaraki Doji, you have the 4-star Berserker Tamamo Cat, and you have the 4-star Berserker, the Berserker of El Dorado. And that is all for the trilogy pack banners, if you want to go that far. The only note here on the 4th is that it's going to be the final day for some of the Fate Samurai Remnant servants. Well, specifically, it's only going to be for Musashi. Musashi is going to end her run on the last day, or the end of the day on the 4th. But other than that, everything else is pretty good to go and remains the same. Alright, so next up is where things get a little bit interesting and somewhat tricky, and as always, my guesswork has to come into play here, which I'm typically wrong on, but that's okay. I don't mind being wrong. Just trying to get as much information out there as possible for you guys to make your informed decisions. But this is where things get a little tricky, right? So we have the Fate Grand Carnival event, which features a Ereshkigal as the only servant in the banner. So we could get this month. We could not get this. It could be pushed back to a different point in time. I think we might get it here on the 5th. Musashi runs her course on the 4th, so that could give us the time to get a Ereshkigal in there before we have the Halloween event. And the way the Halloween event is structured is really weird as well. So normally for events, like, you get one the first week and then you get the second part the second week, and that doesn't happen in the Halloween event. So it looks like you get the second part a couple days after the first part. So if you take my prediction is we're gonna get the Halloween event on the 9th, and then a couple days after that would be the 12th, and that's a week after the 5th. So maybe we get a Ereshkigal for a week, and then that'll lead into Napoleon on the 12th. I'm not really sure, guys, but either way, Ereshkigal is just like kind of like a throwaway banner here. So Ereshkigal comes out and you can pull for her. She's out for a week if you need her. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I could be completely wrong with this one, but it just kind of fit in. I wanted to get the 2 banners that we may or may not get into the calendar, and this is kind of the only feasible way that I could see it happening, because I'm not convinced that we're going to get part 2 of the Halloween event 2 days or 3 days after it starts. We could very well get it on the 16th, and if that happens, then I don't know where Ereshkigal falls outside of the 5th. So we'll see what happens. I'm probably completely wrong, but anyway, that's all the news that's happening on the 5th. Alright, moving on to the 6th, there's really not much to talk about here other than it being the final day to pull for Arjuna on the Fate Samurai Remnant banner. So, yeah, nothing really else to talk about, just kind of mentioning that in case you wanted him. And then moving on to the 8th, again, not much to talk about here, only to let you guys know that this will be the final day to pull for Old Man Lee on the Fate Samurai Remnant banner, and this is also the final day of the Fate Samurai Remnant banner. So that'll be wrapping up on the end of the day on the 8th, which is why I do have the Halloween event slated on the 9th. And then on the 9th, I'm assuming we're going to get the new Halloween event. The pre-release campaigns end on October 23rd, so I did have to factor that into the equation. If you look on the JP schedule, their pre-release campaigns ended the same day as the new Halloween event ended itself, so I did use that to factor into my calculations a little bit. Now it looks like they have they had one extra week for their campaign, but the actual Halloween event lasts for 2 weeks. So if you go for 2 weeks, starting from the 9th, that'll get you to the 23rd. So I think it's a pretty safe bet that we're going to get it, unless we get it like tomorrow or something and give us the full duration of the event. But I think this is a pretty good slot there for the 9th. Anyway, you do get 2 new servants in this banner. So you're going to get the 5-star Foreigner Jox, and you're also going to get a 4-star Archer Zenobia. So a couple new characters, pretty interested. I honestly don't know too much about either of these characters too much. I kind of fell off on JP about when this kind of came out. So a lot of these newer JP characters I'm not too familiar with, but it does give me an opportunity to learn and kind of do some more research into them. So I'm pretty excited for that. It kind of feels like they're new instead of like waiting 2 years to get something. So that part of it is pretty cool. Now that I'm more exclusive to NA, not being able, like, not really keeping up with it, it's a little bit of a surprise to me. Regardless, though, I'm excited to get these characters. I will be pulling for them, of course, as they are new characters and new events and all that stuff. So looking forward to it. Alright, so jumping over here into the 12th, there's quite a bit happening here on the 12th. First of all, is the last day for the Halloween Trilogy banners, so if you want any of those characters, then make sure you pull for that by the end of the day on the 12th. If we do get a Rush Skills banner, it would be the final day to pull for her as well, so if you did want her, make sure you do that. And then we also do have part 2 of the Halloween event coming out. Now this one I'm not completely sold on. We could get it here on the 12th, we could get it on the 16th, depending on when we actually get the event. Because like I said, they usually like doing weeks in between, but this one for some reason was a couple days. Not too sure why, but it does kind of line up pretty nicely with how everything else works out. But anyway, you do have Napoleon rated up as your 5-star character. You do have the 4-star Chevalier rated up, and you do also have a 3-star. I don't usually include 3 stars in the list, but they are a story-locked character, so I did include Bedivere there for that, just because of him being story-locked and is somewhat relevant, because you might not have him because of the story lock. So potentially, if you wanted it, you could go for it. The banner is not that good though, so I really don't recommend pulling for it or any of those characters unless they are like specific favorites for you. So having said all of that, I do feel pretty good about my dates and stuff. Again, if they were confirmed elsewhere, I'm not too sure. I haven't been keeping up too much with the news. But the only issue with this is there is a pretty big gap, about 12-day gap in between Napoleon coming out and when potentially the next banner would be. So one of two things could happen. Either we actually get Napoleon on the 16th instead of the 12th, and that kind of mitigates the gap, well, entirely, and then we don't have to worry about it, and then we can just get the next banner on the 23rd or the 24th, or they'll give us something else, or I'm just completely wrong, and then it doesn't matter. But anyway, the banner we may or may not get here on the 24th is going to be a Fate Apocrypha banner. I did go back to see if that we actually got this, because anytime we have these like Blu-ray celebrations and stuff, I'm never too sure if we're going to get them or not, or at least when we get them, or when we got them on JP, because the Blu-rays are already out, so like there's no celebration campaign for it. It's already out. Like, you could literally own it right now as you're listening to this in both Japanese and in like English releases. So I'm not sure, but I'll go ahead and cover it anyway. This one has rate ups throughout the day. I'm not sure how they would handle this on like how they're doing it with the new format, because every day is a different pair of servants. They do rotate back, so it could be I don't know. I guess they could just do, what is it, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 banners? Seems like a lot, but I don't know. It's something that they could do, I guess. Regardless, though, lots of different servants available here. Some of them are limited, some of them are just regular characters. They're all from Fate Apocrypha, though, so that's pretty cool. You can just go through them, I guess. You have 5 stars. You have the 5-star Saber, Astolfo. You have the summer version of Joan of Arc. You have Shiro. You have Semiramis. You have the summer version of Mordred, and I believe the summer version of Frankenstein right there. Yeah, summer version of Frankenstein, yeah. And then for the other rated up servants, which is just the ones that you could generally pull at any point, You have 5-star Lancer Karna, 5-star Assassin Jack, the regular version of Joan of Arc, the 5-star Ruler, 4-star Saber Siegfried, 4-star Archer Atlanta, 4-star Archer Sharon, 4-star Rider Astolfo, and the 4-star Berserker Frankenstein. Those are your list of characters. If we do get the banner, I kind of do expect it to be some sort of raid up, mix up. Unless they do want to just give us 7 banners, which would actually be really cool. I really do like them doing that. But I'm not sure if we'll actually get this banner. We might not. I don't know. They could put a Rush Goal here instead and just have that finish out the month. But yeah, that's the month. Like I said, quite a lot of servants to get through. But honestly speaking, there's not a whole lot of stuff that I would recommend pulling for. Obviously, you want to pull for the new characters. I'm a very big advocate of that. Just because you want to get the new characters, and then we don't have to worry about pulling for them later. Unless they're like just terrible, but most characters aren't that bad where you don't need to pull for them right away, at least with them being fresh. But everything else, pretty good characters, but nothing super... I guess I say that because I have the characters, though. Like, Musashi's a really good character. Like, definitely, like, if you don't have Musashi, I'd recommend pulling for Musashi. I'm personally a big fan of Van Gogh. Rush Goal is really good as well. I think she is anyway. I have her MP5, though, so I don't need to pull for her anymore. Got really crazy luck with my GSSRs. Ryder Mordred's really good, if you want to pull for her. I don't know how relevant she is anymore, but summer characters are always hard to get now because they're so like limited and they never come back. There are a lot of characters, I will say that. So a lot of them aren't really like bad either. They're just, I guess because I have them, I don't think about it as much. Like I wouldn't pull for them because like I don't need another Napoleon, right? Like I don't think about it like that. But like Musashi, I would be okay with another Musashi. So like that's kind of where I'm at, like with grading characters, I guess. But everyone has their own interpretation of who's good and who's not good, and what characters they like and what characters they don't like. Just because they're like your favorite character, that's a good enough reason to pull for them, right? So don't listen to me too much on whether or not you should pull for some of these characters. But me personally, the only thing I'm pulling for is the new event for Jocks. So anyway, I think I've rambled on long enough for the day. So thanks for watching, guys. And I'm going to get back to uploading my playthrough of Fate Samurai Remnant after this. I'm really enjoying the game. I did get a little bit of an early access to that, so huge shout out to Koei Tecmo for hooking me up with the early access there. But yeah, so check that out, guys, and I'll see you next time.